Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to be a brief review of subtraction with regrouping. Our first example problem is 431 minus 229. I'm going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. So step one before we do any subtraction is we have to see if regrouping is needed. Now we regroup whenever there's a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So step one, check if regrouping is needed. So looking in the hundreds place, 4 is bigger than 2, 3 is bigger than 2, 1 is smaller than 9. You cannot start with 1 and take away 9, so we will need to regroup in the ones place. So we have to take a 10 from the tens place, the 3 is going to become a 2, and the 1 is going to become an 11. And now we are ready to subtract. 11 minus 9 equals 2. 2 minus 2 equals 0. 4 minus 2 equals 2. And we have our final answer, 431 minus 229 equals 202. Moving on to our next example problem. I'm Mr. Camilleri, and this is the Mr. Camilleri Show YouTube channel. So our next example problem is 500 minus 338. Again, first step is we check if regrouping is needed. Looking in the hundreds place, 5 is bigger than 3, but 0 is smaller than 3 and 0 is smaller than 8. You cannot start with 0 and take away 3. You cannot start with 0 and take away 8, so we will need to regroup in the tens place and in the hundreds place. So we regroup by adding a 10 and taking away a 1, so 5 in the hundreds place becomes a 4, the 0 becomes a 10, then the 0 in the ones place becomes a 10, and then we have to take away 1 from the tens place, that 10 in the tens place becomes a 9. And now we are ready to subtract. Sometimes it's helpful to actually just do a quick double check, make sure all the top numbers are equal to or bigger than the bottom numbers. So 4 is bigger than 3, 9 is bigger than 3, 10 is bigger than 8. We are ready to subtract. 10 minus 8 equals 2. Nine minus 3 equals 6. 4 minus 3 equals 1, and we have our final answer. 500 minus 338 equals 162. All right, moving on to example number 3. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit that like button. Really helps the algorithm. So we have 712 minus 381. Step 1, we see if regrouping is needed. Always check to see whether or not regrouping is needed. Even if you don't think regrouping is needed, it's always good to double check. Because if you need to regroup and you forget to regroup, it will throw off the whole problem. So here, 7 is bigger than 3, but 1 is smaller than 8. So we will need to regroup in the tens place. So the 7 is going to become a 6, the 1 is going to become an 11. Six is bigger than 3, 11 is bigger than 8, 2 is bigger than 1. We are ready to subtract. 2 minus 1 equals 1. 11 minus 8 equals 3. And 6 minus 3 equals 3. And we have our final answer. 712 minus 381 equals 331. All right, moving on to the next example problem. Thinking we'll probably have about 2 more problems left before we call it a video. So we have 810 minus 149. Checking if regrouping is needed. It is. You cannot start out with 1 and take away 4. You cannot start out with 0 and take away 9. So we regroup from left to right, and then we subtract from right to left. So the 8 becomes a 7. The 1 becomes an 11. The 0 becomes a 10. Then we have to go back to the tens place and take away 1. So the 11 is also going to become a 10. And now we are ready to subtract. Ten minus 9 equals 1. 10 minus 4 equals 6. 7 minus 1 equals 6. And we have our final answer. 810 minus 149 equals 661. All right, moving on to what is perhaps the final subtraction problem of the video. Thank you all for tuning in to the Mr. Camilleri Show YouTube channel. All right, we have 529 minus 145. Again, before we do any subtraction, we check if regrouping is needed. We regroup whenever there's a bottom digit bigger than the top digit. And as you can see for this problem, 4 is bigger than 2. You cannot start out with 2 and take away 4. So we will need to regroup in the tens place. No regrouping needed in the ones or hundreds place. So the 2 in the tens place, we have to add 10 to it. So that 2 is going to become a 12, and we are borrowing that 10, or I should say we are taking that 10 from the hundreds place. So the 5 in the hundreds place becomes a 4. Back in the 90s, we used to call this borrowing, but it's not really borrowing because we don't give it back. All right, now we are ready to subtract. 9 minus 5 equals 4. 12 minus 4 equals 8. 4 minus 1 equals 3, and we have our final answer. 529 minus 145 equals 384. That was going to be my last problem, but since we still have people, or at least one person tuning in, I'm going to keep going. We will do at least one more example. Please hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. All right, next example problem, and possibly the last example problem of the video. 743 minus 228. So we check if regrouping is needed, and it is. In the ones place, you cannot start with 3 and take away 8, so we have to regroup. We have to take a 10 from the tens place. The 3 will become a 13, and that 4 will become a 3. And now we are ready to subtract. 13 minus 8 equals 5. 3 minus 2 equals 1. 7 minus 2 equals 4, and we have our final answer. $743 minus 228 equals 415. All right, that is my live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there is an area of math or reading you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments, and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off.